Hey guys, it's Streed, and today I'm going to be reviewing the French 1980 slasher film Ogroff, aka The Mad Mutilator.
Ogroff was directed by Nobel Mukti. It starred these people. It was an extremely cheap Z-grade amateur slasher film. The film was so cheap they pasted the title text on glass and put it on the camera. The movie has no real plot, but it involves a masked lumberjack killer who stalks and brutally murders anyone who crosses into his woods. He also has a horde of zombies he keeps as pets who eventually escape and mill around. The film has very little dialogue and feels like a bizarre, lucid nightmare.
I finally did it. I found the boring four. The first, Creature from the Haunted Sea, Terror in the Midnight Sun, Track of the Moon Beast, and now Ogroff. And like those movies, I watched it with my dear friend Jordan. I've disappointed you once again. Though there were some things to laugh at, mostly this film was just not worth it. And there's actually a bit of an interesting story of how I even found this nothing of a film. I wish I would have never found it. You see, I was watching this review. I was watching this review of Critters by Red Letter Media on their show Review. And they were talking about like other little monster movies, and there's this one on the bottom tier called Beastie, so I wrote that down for being like a probable film I could review. But then when I went down scrolling for other movies similar to Beasties, I came across this movie called Ogroff, and the fucking poster looked like something off fucking Black Devil Doll from Hell. It looked that bad, so I was thinking, hey, this might be a really funny, entertaining, really shitty, shot-on-shitty gore film, which it was, but largely the film was so boring, weird, and repetitive, and just random. This movie has absolutely no plot. I'm just going to be honest, this is going to be a very short review because of how little happens in this movie. Now on to the strengths, and I don't know if you can really count this as a strength, but there are a few entertaining scenes in this movie. There are some scenes that make it worth watching once, and let me reiterate this: watch this once. If I had to recommend it, if I had to say you had to watch it once and never again. I will never watch this movie again. Like fucking the clown murders, like I Never Left the White Room, like the Iron Sheriff, like A Waste of the Zombies. This is going into that once category. I watched this with Jordan and he said this is not DVD worthy. Definitely not DVD worthy. So the few fun scenes is when Ogroff kills the first guy and he chops his head off and he's headless and he's fucking squirting blood and his hand's still moving and it's really fucking silly looking. And the hand obviously looks like a zombie hand and this guy was just like freshly killed. And there's a great scene where he starts killing his own zombies, which he keeps them as pets. And it's never explained how there's any nothing in this film is explained. This whole film is just walking nothing. Is useless. I'm not being stupid and saying that, oh, nothing happens. I mean, nothing happens. This movie has no plot. It's just things. It's just vignettes. Murderous vignettes. That's the best way I can describe this shit. And yeah, it wasn't entertaining when he killed the zombies, even though it's never explained where they even came from or how he got them. And there's this weird axe scene where he masturbates with an axe. I showed that in the beginning. I don't know what the fuck that was about. And my favorite scene of all in the movie was when he fights this random ass chainsaw guy and he ends up cutting his fucking legs off and he drips blood on him and he stabs him and shit and the guy's still screaming. He would obviously be dead by this point and he's still screaming. The gore effects are absolutely fucking terrible. Oh god. Alright, now on to the weaknesses. The camera work is it's fucking terrible, okay? There's no good shots. The scenery is terrible. The camera quality is terrible itself. It looks like it was filmed off a porno camera. made like that filmed fucking pornos from 1969 to 71, and there's like fucking dry cum all over the fucking lens, and that's what it fucking looks like. It looks like someone either came on the lens and left it sitting there for years, or someone just shoved it up their ass with fucking Vaseline. That's what it looks like. And even the music is terrible. Even the music sound like something out of fucking Oasis of the Zombies, and I'm not even kidding. It may not be as shrieky, but it sure is boring, and they reuse the same fucking music over and over again. And that's where it starts to come into comparisons with fucking The Iron Sheriff, because that movie fucking reused the same fucking music over and over and over and over again. And the editing is garbage. There's so much inconsistent editing. I don't even know where to begin. You just have to watch the film to see how inconsistent and terrible the editing is. And there are long stretches of boring scenes, just like zombies walking, uh, this lady running, and this other lady walking, and the killer just sitting around doing nothing. Oh my, it's painful. This movie is so hard to get through. Yes, it is fun and it is entertaining sometimes, but largely it is so unbearable. It is unbearable. And also, the terrible dubbing. This movie it has no dialogue. There was no script. There's some talking, but largely this is mostly a silent film with just screams and dumb sound effects, and barely even sound effects, because the dubbing was added in later. And like I said, the film has no plot, and they reuse scenes much like the fucking Iron Sheriff, and they do that a couple times, and that fucking bugged the shit out of me. And the lady ends up falling in love with the killer after he kidnaps her and ties her to a chair, like fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he shows her the knife, gets it up close to her face, and she looks fucking terrified. She's like, "Oh shit!" And then literally, just a fucking second later, she kisses him, and they're suddenly together. No dialogue, nothing. They're just, "Oh, you're a murderer. I know you're a murderer. You got this sick shit all over your house. Fucking blood and guts all over this dumbass looking little house. I guess I love you now." None of the characters even have names. None. Not a single character has names. Everyone in this film is a walking meat bag. And the ending is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. The lady ends up getting away from the killer for no reason. She falls in love with him for no reason. Then she leaves for no reason. And she meets this preacher. And, the preacher turns out to be a fucking vampire. That came completely out of left field. This whole film is so nothing. So, how would I rank? How would I, fucking. Fucking. Sorry, I think this movie made me sick because my throat kind of hurts right now, and I'm fucking tired. It's currently 3:41 a.m., and I thought I might as well do this review now because I want to avoid this movie for the rest of my life. It has some things to laugh at, but it's not worth your time. I recommend maybe watching it once. And if I had to give this like a rating, I would say this is a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10, honestly. It's got some entertaining parts, but it's still a really, really tough watch to get through. It's so horrible. And once again, Jordan, I'm sorry for putting you through this. I'm sorry, man. Once again, the poster tricked me. I knew this film was going to be shitty. I knew it was. And I know there's probably worse films out there, way worse films. But this was just. It was so boring, repetitive, weird, and just nonsense. This feels like something some dumbass YouTuber would make, you know? Some YouTuber doesn't know shit about horror. Some YouTube, like, no, like maybe a basic summary of horror. And they just go out and decide to make a fucking dumbass movie about it. Even Jordan claimed that this looks like it was made by a fucking a fucking 17-year-old, some edgelord 17-year-old. Oh, let's get the gore, let's get the exploitation, and blah blah blah. Well, guys, that was my review of the embarrassingly boring, inept garbage that is Ogroff, and I will see you all next time.